Hi everybody, my name is Ben Wilson. I'm VP of Product Management here at Fortinet, and I look after the wireless business. We call the wireless business Secure Access, and it's a real pleasure to be able to talk to everybody today here at Mobility Field Day. I've been around the wireless industry for a while. I am a long-term viewer, but a first-time presenter at Mobility Field Day, so I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to present to everybody. Now, what I'm going to talk about today has some futures in it. It's to do with roadmap. As we all know, when things are in development, things change. So obviously, there's a disclaimer that we show. But as Sumant alluded to before, simplicity drives everything we do from a product management perspective. Deployment, management, user experience. And as Chris said before, what we're talking about is security-driven networking. And we deliver an end-to-end unified platform from endpoints right the way through to cloud services, and the data path is fast and secure and always fully connected into the NOC and the SOC. So today we're going to be concentrating on security-driven networking, and we're going to be obviously concentrating on the wireless as it's Mobility Field Day. Now, something lots of people have been talking about is AI and ML applications. And, when this started to happen a couple of years ago, we kind of looked at each other and thought, well, we already do this because we've been using ML and AI since 2010. The reason we have been doing that is because we process over 10 billion events with FortiGuard labs. And FortiGuard labs is, a real jewel in the crown of Fortinet. So it's the ML and the AI platform is driven by one of the largest and most experienced research organizations. It's got over 215 researchers and analysts, 31 countries, 8 dedicated FortiGuard labs, and it does over 580,000 hours of research annually. And then if that wasn't enough, we've also got threat intelligence from over 200 ecosystem partners and collaborations. And that's really what the fabric is all about, being able to bring all of these things together. So it's a lot of data, it's a lot of intelligence, and it's a lot of ongoing training and refinement of our analytics and AI platform. And when we look at the vision that we've got as a company, you can split it into these four pillars. You've got a platform approach, you've got flexible consumption. We want to be AI driven, not just in the security operations, but in the network operations as well. As ever, we're aiming towards a single console, which we deliver with the Fabric Management Center. And, we're an engineering driven company. We develop and build our custom ASICs, our SPU, our security processing unit technology. So Sumant mentioned before about the NP6. You also mentioned about the SOC 4. You take something like our 60F firewall. It has our SOC 4 in it, and that can do 15 gigabits per second of CAPAP throughput because we accelerate that. Each NP6 processor can do over 30 gigabits per second of CAPAP throughput. So it's really important that what we want to do is explain that everything we do from a security perspective runs straight into the networking, because the idea is that the security fabric is evolving, and it's evolving all the time. So you get more visibility and control, you get automation and integration, you get automated incident response, and you get this driven by AI and machine learning. So we're looking at self-healing and self-defending networks. And as I mentioned, this is not just WAN, this is not just wired, this is not just wireless. We have this all over the fabric. So we have it built into FortiWeb. I'm going to talk to you how we're doing this with FortiAP. We have it with SD-WAN. We've got it in FortiSandbox. We've got a dedicated research analyst platform called FortiAI, and it's built into FortiEDR that Chris mentioned before. But that's all very well, but what do we really expect? So we expect increases in performance. We expect, evolution where we're doing log analysis, state analysis, and full fabric visibility. But the main thing is that we want value-based insights. So we're not just talking information, we're talking about information that can be applied to optimize business operations on multiple levels. And we want to improve user experience. And we want to add self-healing so that issues are detected and solved before they're even noticed. Now, I come from the wireless world, and when I sit in front of customers, and we talk security and we talk networking, you know, if you have a networking guy and a security guy in the room, the network guys always say, security, great, but tell me about connectivity, because without great connectivity, you know, nothing's going to work. And being a wireless guy, I can understand that. But there's also the security guys who say, okay, connectivity is great, but without security, connectivity is a liability. And what we actually are doing is bringing these things together and delivering an ecosystem, a fabric which allows it all to be delivered. And how do we do that? Well, one of the things that we're doing over the next, over the next few months, and we're looking at hopefully before the end of 2020 for this, we're going to be adding security at the edge. So built into our U-Series APs, we're going to be adding web filtering. We're going to be adding our new IPS engine, botnet, app control, antivirus, and also the device identification as well, to help with the NAC that Sumant was talking about before. And of course, it's all driven by FortiGuard Labs. So it's even more intelligence going into these feeds and adding more data points, adding more learning that we can do it. So it's security before it even hits the wire. So it's built direct into the AP. Now, why would we do that? Well, we touched before on multiple different architectures, and there are times when customers have a FortiGate at the center of the network, and all of the traffic is tunneled to the FortiGate for inspection. But why are we doing this virtually? Well, we're doing this virtually because a lot of us are remote. I'm remote now. I'm studying in my office at home. And, when you have an AP remotely, you may not want all of the traffic tunneled back to the center, but you can still implement security policies at the very edge of the network using the U-Series via this software upgrade when it comes out. And it means that you are able to also deploy U-Series with FortiAP Cloud. And even if you haven't got a FortiGate, experience and make use of the Fortinet security expertise, the core UTM functionality that we have. So again, I'm going back and I'll repeat it a couple of times. It's security-driven networking. So it's the best of breed networking with the best of breed security. So what else are we doing? Well, we're going to be adding intelligence and learning, and this kind of hits into 4 different stages as we see it: predict, visualize, optimize, and protect. And I'm going to go over each of these individually, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we're doing it, and I'm going to go into a very early beta version of something. And somebody mentioned about the WLM GUI before. Well, I'm going to be showing you an insight into not into how the new one looks, but I'm going to be showing you a beta version, and then I'll talk about how we're going to be improving some of the GUI elements of that. So the first thing is predicting trends: what and when, how much, how many, where. We look at historical analysis, and then we can draw trends based on usage and behavior and all these various different things, not just from an RF or a wireless viewpoint, but looking at it from a security viewpoint as well. And then it's about visualizing it, creating a view that is correct for how you want to run the network or how customers want to run the network, and reporting. And reporting is a really key thing for me, because when I was an SE and I was going around installing Wi-Fi, I would do an install, say at a school during a week, and I'd get to Friday, it'd be commissioned, it'd all be working, and then I'd be getting in my car on Friday, ready to drive home. Somebody would come up to me and say, "Oh, I had a problem Tuesday morning logging into the Wi-Fi." which wasn't a lot of use to me back then, being able to troubleshoot it, on a Friday when the problem had happened on a Tuesday. So what we're enabling is a reporting where you can simply put in any device identifier, whether it's the radius username, whether it's the MAC address, although that could be changing as we're learning, radius username, IP, MAC address, any device identifier, choose a timescale, and then be able to create this report, which will look at historical information. It will look at RF information at the time. It will look at network statistics at the time, and help bring all of this together. So it really puts the information directly at your fingertips. And then, there's a lot of talk about SLA baseline monitoring. Well, we've been doing this for 7 years now with something called Service Assurance Manager, which I'm going to show you as well. And when I talk about automation, I don't know how many of you are aware or not, but with our 3 radio APs, you can actually turn the 3rd radio into a service radio. So you take, for example, the U431F, you can have that in a dual 5 gig mode and have the 3rd radio, instead of scanning, as a 2.4 capacity radio dealing with clients. Well, how about when we can predict a spike in capacity, we can change those scanning radios in to those client dealing with radio. So we can increase overall network capacity on the fly, dynamically, making sure that it's all done easily and automated. And then, of course, being a security company, we look at protecting. Now, there's always a balancing act with networking and security. The most secure networks in the world, I guess, are, stand alone, but we live in a connected world. So we always look at things about what's affected, what's the security implication, what's the network implication, and what the options on how we can best secure it. Again, security-driven networking, and the platform that we're pushing through with this is FortiWLM, which I've talked about before. Are there any questions so far? Or am I moving a little quickly?
I do have a question that came across Twitter, but I'm not sure if it's directly relevant, Ben. So
okay.
Let me just throw it out. It's talking about the micro segmentation security technique, and it basically says, does the Forti AP support micro segmentation using dynamic VLANs and personal WANs, wireless LANs? Sorry.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, we do definitely support dynamic VLANs and segmentation across the network. It's one of the key security principles. In terms of micro segmentation, I would have to look to see exactly what that meant, to be perfectly honest with you. But I would say that we have multiple different tools that would be able to create segmentation to give the best security.
Yeah, thanks very much, Ben.
No problem. So the platform we're driving this all through is FortiWLM, and that's our wireless LAN manager. And I know everybody's a big fan of us calling all of our products 40 something. I know there's a couple of big fans, particularly on the panel today. So one of the key principles is that we always think that if an admin finds it difficult to manage it, then users are going to have difficulty using the network. It's 2 different perspectives, but we think if you get one right, then you obviously get the other one right. And 3 main things that we're looking at in FortiWLM 8.6 is, at the moment, we support 6,000 FortiGates on a FortiWLM. We're scaling that up to 10,000. We're supporting FortiOS, doing the Service Assurance Manager and the baseline SLA monitoring, which I'll show you and talk about in a bit. And obviously this ML-driven analysis and insights. And we're driving that through something called Network Analyzer. A network analyzer looks at 23,000 different network log types. And you can see the 5 things there: association, authentication, DHCP, DNS, and all of the RF information as well. And it does all of this and it learns. And we train it. We train it in our networks. We train it all over the place, so that it can spot outliers, so it can spot patterns, so it can spot trends. And we are going to take a look at a beta version very shortly. But I just wanted to show you this back end piece. I don't think you'll actually see this in the finished product, but I like to show this because really, it kind of reminds me a little bit of doing the defrag on the old Windows machines. I don't know whether anybody remembers that, but basically it's looking for bad segments. And what it does is it goes through all of this and it measures various different overheads. It looks at various different RF things in order to draw all of this together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to jump into a couple of a browser window so I can show you a couple of things. That's okay.
I do have a humorous one, which is, if you're automatically switching of your scanning radio to the capacity side, can I execute an attack where I generate a lot of traffic and force your scanner not to be active, and therefore potentially have an attack on your network? Like I said, it was a bit of a humorous question.
No, I don't think so.
I hope not.
I don't see from a physics perspective how that would cause any major issues, but it's an interesting thought, and yeah, quite funny. So thanks for that. So can everybody see the? Hopefully everybody can see the screen. So what I've got is I've got two tabs here, and they are two different wireless LAN managers. And hopefully you can see the one that's on my screen now. And actually, Network Analyzer and the ML and AI feed into this widget called Network Connectivity Issues here in the bottom right hand. Now, this is not the final product. This is not how it's going to look like finally. This is not how we're going to present the information. But what I wanted to do was show you that we are gathering the information and we have this. We are working on this. So if I click DHCP, for example, it will show me the DHCP failures and it will give me some remediation. Now, what we want is the remediation to be automated if you want it to be automated. Not everybody wants it to be automated, but we give you the option of doing automated remediation. But we're already gathering this information. We're already training the network. And as I said, you've got DNS, DHCP, authentication, association, and other RF things as well. And I'll just touch on WLM overall. So WLM is our wireless LAN manager. It works with both our WLC and our FortiGate product. And you have several different things that it does. We've got location services, network manager, spectrum analysis, service assurance manager, which I'm going to talk about. And the overall design principle for this is that you shouldn't ever be more than 3 clicks from any pertinent information. So you should, for example, be able to click on this AP and it will take you to an overview of that network, an overview of that access point, and exactly the status of it within the network. So that's the network analyzer backend feeding into this particular WLM, and as I said, there are the different states that we're looking at, over 23,000 different logs. Now, another feed that we're going to be taking into it is something called Service Assurance Manager. Now, Service Assurance Manager is our SLA baseline monitoring tool, which we are having support for on FortiOS soon. And the way this works is it takes either a third radio in an AP, or if you've just got a 2-radio AP, it changes one of those radios into a client and then performs baseline tests on the network. So you can see the dashboard, the old style dashboard that we have here, and we are updating this. In fact, to go back to a question that was mentioned earlier in the presentation, this is being more and more aligned with the FortiOS and FortiManager GUI styles moving forward. So if I want to look at a quick baseline test, I can show you the different types that we can create. So for example, you can do 3 different types of tests, whether it's just a connectivity, throughput, voice. You can decide whether you're going to set a series of benchmarks, or whether you're just going to do a pure measurement. And then you've got different advanced options as well. So these can also be scheduled. So you can decide to do it once an hour, once a day, once a week, however it is. And once you start scheduling them, then you end up getting result trends.
Ben, I'm sorry. Is it possible for you to zoom in a little bit on that?
I will try.
Command plus or something to.
Let me
We'll see.
try.
That's much better. Yes, thank you.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it must. I did do that before, and it's obviously gone back to the way that it was. So apologies for that. So I'll just go back to the controller dashboard, and basically the controller dashboard shows me the tests that have been done recently. So if I click on this one here, okay, it then opens it up and it shows me the test details. I can click on this particular test here, and it shows me all of the view from the station details. It shows me it from the AP perspective. It shows all the various different things which have gone on. You can download the logs for it. You can look at the client view as well. But you can also, very handily, if I click AP location, it'll show me the location of the AP that the test was carried out on, and you can see it there on the map flashing. So we're really creating workflows here where you can do, baseline monitoring. You can look at trends. You can do all of this and then feed it into the network analyzer to get all of that information into there. So baseline tests, scheduled tests, and we do it for all kinds of different SSIDs, whether they're captive portal, PSK, 802.1x radius, all of these various different things. We can put all of this thing together. So it becomes a very powerful tool to be able to gather all of this information. So I will switch back to the slides.
And while you're doing that, obviously this looks like a whole standalone product. How does this connect or integrate to the FortiGate managed APs and or a cloud managed AP?
That is a fantastic question. And the way it does that is it's a part of a Docker in FortiManager. So you have FortiManager, which is the central piece of the fabric management system, and it acts as a Docker inside of FortiManager. So it actually uses, when it's part of that tunnel, when it's part of the FortiManager, actually uses the FortiManager's tunnel to the FortiGates to be able to make all of the API calls, look at all the logs, gather all of that information together, and pull all of that together. So it really is deeply woven inside the fabric because it's part of the fabric management center Dockers that we have, and we're developing more and more Dockers as well. So it becomes, the next logical step for people to use it. But also, if they don't have FortiManager, you can also have WLM as a standalone appliance as well, or as a VM. So it's, we again have that flexibility in how it's deployed. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. So just as a little reprise, what do we expect? Well, as I said, network performance increase, wider fabric participation. The fabric is massive. It has all kinds of different products inside it. And, we can gather all of that intelligence, not just wireless, not just SD-WAN, not just, wired. We can pull it all together from all our various different products and really make sure that you're getting value-based insights, lowering the operational overhead, right? That's one of the key reasons for doing this, is lowering the operational overhead. And ongoing flexible integration with DevOps. If any of you want to sign up to the Fortinet website, you can get access to all of the APIs and everything like that. It's a fantastic thing to do, and we have huge amounts of integration. We're also making some other retail enhancements, retail-focused enhancements. So we've done electronic label integration recently, which is coming out very shortly. We're doing a max capacity count as well inside of FortiPresence, which is our presence analytics platform. We're doing more advanced geofencing things. And we're also looking at how we can enhance our beaconing as well. But we're having a lot of success in retail with our retail-focused platforms. So I'm just going to touch briefly on the hardware side of things now. So those of you who have known us for a while will have seen that we have APs. Our 802.11ac ones had C at the end. The Wave 2 ones had E at the end. The Wi-Fi 6 ones had F at the end, or do have F because they're shipping now. And the Wi-Fi 6E ones, I can reveal today, have G at the end of them, okay? So what we're doing is we're pushing forward with refresh of our access points. Very lucky most of the time. In fact, I think all of them so far. We just have to change the front end modules for majority of them. So we've got the U431F, which is shipping at the moment. We're bringing out the U431G, which will be 6 gigahertz capable. Same with the 231F. We'll be bringing out 231G, which is 6 gigahertz capable as well. I'm going to talk about the outdoor products in a little while. With our 40AP, product, we've got an 8x8 in the works, which should be coming out soon. The 431F is available now. We're going to be bringing out a 6 gigahertz version of that eventually as well. And, correcting easy things, all the same mounting brackets, all the same positions, all that type of thing. Because, as we move forward, we're making things easier from an installation perspective as well. We color code the antennas for models which have external antennas on them to make it easier. So, when we're looking at simplifying things, it's not just about simplifying things from a pure wireless perspective or a pure security perspective. It's about how you manage the ongoing thing. And I've touched on this before, but being able to have yes. Sorry,
I'm going to interrupt. I was assuming all of the AP hardwares would be kind of converging towards that universal model, but I just see kind of two different roadmaps here. Can you tell us what goes where in a
Sure, absolutely, yeah. So we see the U series as if you like, the premium model, because that can handle the UTM integration. For example, the U431F is a dual 5 gigahertz capable AP. The 431F, the normal 40 AP, isn't dual 5 gigahertz capable, okay? But so we have clear differentiation in those two models. But customers have different sensitivities. For some, it's functionality. For some, it's economics. And what we're able to do is we're able to play best in all areas by being able to concentrate different things on others. To give you some idea, a couple of years ago, we had 57 different access points. Okay, we've now brought that significantly down. And the aim is that in actual fact, we should be down to about between 12 and 15 in the next 18 months or so. So that's where the differentiation lies between those two product sets.
Okay, so all of these could be managed by a FortiGate or the cloud. Is that true?
Correct. Absolutely. 100%. Yes.
Hey, Ben, could you, and you guys touched on this last year, obviously, when the announcement was made, but I still get questions a lot on my blog and on Twitter about the discontinuation of virtual cell real quick.
Well, so virtual cell has not been developed for 802.11ax. It's still available on the 802.11ac Wave 2 models if you use it with a WLC. But a lot of the advantages, or a lot of the things that people found advantageous with virtual cell, a lot of them have been negated somewhat with 802.11ax. Virtual cell is a great technology. It had a lot of great things, but roaming times have massively improved. Hugely improved. In Wi-Fi over the course of the past 10 years. You've got things like BSS colouring, which allows for more tolerance of co-channel interference and that type of thing. So when we were looking at 802.11x, it seemed like a natural juncture. It seemed like a natural juncture here to say, right, okay, virtual cell, great technology, but with 802.11ax, the technology has moved on. Does that answer that okay?
Yeah, that's great. And it's just funny. People still, they've read what your guys' comments were on that, and I still get people that reach out from time to time. And just recently, somebody asked me to bring this up during this presentation, so I appreciate you touching on that.
No problem whatsoever. I am running very short on time, so there's a couple of things that I just want to mention, and then I will leave you in the hands of Sumant and Chris. I was going to go into this. Accessories, simplifying. Underseat enclosure accessory. Inside of it, you can mount the AP. It's for stadiums, theatres, all kinds of things. We're getting a lot of demand for this, so we've got an underseat enclosure accessory. But I guess one of the things that I'm really pleased about is this innovation that we've come up with. So the 432F is our 802.11ax outdoor 4x4 access point, and we've designed a bracket which goes round it, and you mount the antenna to the bracket. Now, why is that important? Tell you why it's important, because when I was an SE, I hated having to go up the ladder multiple times, first mount the AP, then go up there, add the cables, do your amalgamating tape, then go up, mount the antenna, all of this business, right? And what we've really done here is given you the ability to build everything you need into a single unit, but have the flexibility to be able to choose whatever antenna suits your RF environment best. So you mount it on the unit itself, and then you have one trip up there, mount the whole thing as a single unit. And that's something that we've been working on, and you should see this out when the 432F gets. And of course, we also have a new 2x2 234F outdoor, which has a built-in panel antenna as well. And just to finish with this, there was a lot of love last year for FortiRobot. I didn't want you to think that FortiRobot had gone away. FortiRobot is still in development. It's very close. We've added some more intelligence to it, and we're making it so that all of the results can be uploaded into the fabric management ecosystem as well.